All right then, so this is just a video where I'm going to be talking about 5 things that I want the next Octopath Traveler to have, um, or at least, what I would like them to have. It doesn't need to have this, I'd probably still get it anyway, but I would just really like to have these 5 things. It's not any particular order, it's not from least to greatest, it's just, as it comes to my mind. So, and as I wrote them down. So, let's get to it after the cut. So, here we go. We'll get to number 5 after the cut. So, this one is one that kind of came to my mind. The job classes in the game are nice, but most of them are just, you can become the job classes of other characters, and that's cool. But I think that, the game is called Octopath Traveler, and there should be more job classes than just, the warrior, the merchant, the scholar, the dancer, the cleric, the physician, the hunter, and let's see, there's one more. There's one I'm missing. Merchant, cleric, warrior. Well, whatever. The 8 that are already there. I think there should be more job classes. Specifically 2 more. I know that kind of people like, well, that kind of breaks the whole Octopath Traveler. The Octopath Traveler is that they're 8 playable characters. I think there should be more job classes on top of that, kind of like the hidden shrines you find in the game that basically let you unlock new job classes. I think there should be more base job classes on top of that. Specifically, I think there should be 2. Which is really 4 because every job class in the game has its mirror. Oh, and thief. That's the 8. So I think there should be a monk class that fights with staffs and fists, like barehanded. And I think the echo of that should be. I think that the echo of that should be the brawler, right? I think the path action of the monk should be meditation, which basically lets the monk meditate and do all types of cool shit. And I think the brawler's thing should be inspiration. So basically, they can fight someone, or they can be inspired by someone doing something, and it basically lets them learn a new attack, like not what that person did, but it inspires them to create an attack based on what they saw. I think that the monk, like I said, I think the brawler should use knuckles, which should be their own thing. Knuckles do blunt damage, but they're knuckles, and and barehanded. So yeah, the other class I think should be is the gunner, and maybe like the inventor. They both use guns, but maybe the inventor also uses knives. And maybe the gunner uses I don't know, barehanded stuff. I don't know, swords. I don't know. But you get what I'm saying. Like the reason I think there should be more classes in the game is just because it adds more depth and complexity, and adds more gameplay. Let's see. So that's number 5, more classes. And you might say to yourself, well, how are these classes going to be enhanced upon? How are they going to grow? Well, that leads to number 4, after the cut. So this is kind of a flaw with the title. Inherent flaw. Basically, as you play Octopath Traveler, you're going to reach a point where you're going to have a certain build, a certain character grouping that's going to work for you, and you're really not going to want to switch out characters, and so other characters are going to be left far behind in the level up game. I think there should be other ways to level up those characters. Now, I don't think just having an experience share would work. Where like characters who are at the tavern, or if you get a headquarters at the headquarters or whatever, maybe they get like 1/3 or 2/3 of the experience from enemies. But that kind of cheapens leveling them up. So here's a way I thought that could kind of help them get JP and level up. And what I thought was, wouldn't it be cool if you could send those characters who were idling out on their own little side things, not story relevant side quests, but like, hey, a group of monsters are attacking this village, so you send like 2 or 3 or 4 characters out to go handle that shit while you're out doing other stuff. And depending on how high their level is and what the level of the side mission is, that basically means they fail or succeed. But even if they fail, they get some experience and job points. And if they succeed, they get more plus an item. I think that's a great way to level up a character. Battles are great in the game. They really are. They're fun, they're enjoyable, but I think that could really add some depth and complexity, in my opinion, to Octopath Traveler, to a sequel to the game. So, yeah. We'll get to number 3 after the cut, which is going to pertain to something that this game does pretty well, but I think could be enhanced upon. So one of the problems of this game is that there's certain advanced concepts that you literally, unless you go on the internet and look up a FAQ, or get the Prima Games or whoever has the strategy guide for it, you will not have an idea. So for example, they don't tell you that you can unlock, once you unlock sub-skills, those sub-skills are available to every other, to that character, regardless of what class they're using. They don't tell you that. You have no idea of knowing. It's just, oh, guess what? You can do this shit. That's not cool. That is not cool to just not tell people information like that. That kind of sucks, if you will. They don't tell you that in order for you to enhance your chances to use path skills, yeah, you can inquire or ask people questions, but you can also, as you level up, that's important. There's a ton of little different things that kind of make or break the end-game experience, and that, like, the mid to end-game experience that you kind of have to figure out on your own. Now, I'm not saying break that sense of discovery, but I mean, it's like some of this is vital information that can really make the game easier. Like you don't even learn about advanced job classes in the game until the very end. It's totally fucked up. It's like the only reason I knew about advanced job classes because I was like, okay, there's some skills and abilities missing that I know can probably be used. Why is this? And places that I investigated. It's not cool that that's not in the game. That should be in the game. So yeah, advanced concepts and stuff are kind of like missing in the game, and I'm not cool with that. But there's something that can help with that after the cut. So this one's kind of like one of those things that kind of makes me angry about a lot of games. And this game didn't fail at doing this, but I would like to see it implemented better in the next game. That is, if you're in a city or a town, it should feel like a city or a town. You know what I mean? If you're in a city, it should have a lot of people, like a lot of stuff going on. Even if it's just people just walking around who you can bump into and they say little nonsensical things, there should be more activity. You know what I'm saying? There should be more things to do in a town besides just, okay, there's a weapon shop, there's an item shop, there's a general shop, there's some side quests. There should be, like, each town should have its own flavor. Like, wouldn't it have been cool when you went to the bazaar town that had the bazaars and stuff, if you could actually participate in the bazaar? You could actually go and auction stuff off, like, any time. That would have been cool. Maybe you could have put stuff that you weren't using anymore up for sale at the bazaar and maybe have, like, an auction. I don't know. Like, little stuff like that could make the game, that could add depth and complexity to the title. Maybe have the game have a point where you can recruit various people to come. Maybe you get access to barony or something like that, and you get to basically recruit people to come live there and build a city or a village or whatever. Like, that kind of adds depth and complexity to the game, and that would be cool. Because while the game has a lot of depth and complexity with the combat and the characters and the overall story and the interactions and path actions and stuff like that, I think that would add some depth and complexity that would make the game a little bit more, more enjoyable for me, as an old school RPG gamer. Kind of like how Breath of Fire did that, Breath of Fire 2, back in the day, where you had the city building thing going on. And the final thing that I would like to see in the game, and this is just, is going to come up after the cut. Well, two things. So we'll get to number one after the cut. So this is the big one that kind of makes me go, okay, this would be cool. Once you beat Octopath Traveler, there is no post game. Like, you beat the game and that's it. That's not really cool to me. I think that in today's kind of environment with games, like, there's no reason for an RPG to not have New Game Plus. Like, there's just no reason for it. I think every RPG these days should have a New Game Plus, where basically you can, start the game all over again, or, stuff like that. I think every RPG should have post-game content. Like, you beat the final dungeon, you beat the final boss, new shit opens up. Maybe you go across the sea, maybe you go to a new continent or go to an old continent. I don't know, but there should be post-game content with other shit to explore. There's just no excuse for it not to be there in games today. And I think an Octopath Traveler 2 would really benefit from this. Oh, there's more stuff to do. Oh, that's cool. That's my own little personal opinion. I really think that could really work wonderfully. An example of this would be maybe after, like, you have the main area on the main continents where you have to go, but maybe, maybe Octopath Traveler 2 takes place on a new continent with new stuff going on, and you go, like, the post-game content, you go to the old continent. Maybe it takes place 50, 60, 70 years after the events of the first Octopath Traveler. And you can see how your actions change the world. Like, maybe in a side quest where you helped a king bring, the performing arts to a city, maybe 70 years later that place is a major epicenter for culture, like theater going culture and arts and singing and stuff like that. Maybe you do a character side story and that place is this new a new empire was created or something like that. Like that's the type of all this extra post-game content. And it wouldn't take much, because if you're using the same engine, same assets, you would just use the same base assets and add here and there because time has changed. Post-game content. So yeah, give me your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns in the comment section. We'll go over upcoming events and such after the cut. Okay then, so here's the overview. Basically, I think the next Octopath Traveler should have more classes, more ways to level up characters, more jobs, like stuff like that, more post-game content, and better explanations on advanced gaming concepts, because they give you have no idea. You just have to figure it out on your own, which is fine and dandy, but okay. That's kind of a barrier to entry for people who want to get into hardcore RPGs. Like, for me, as an old school RPG person, I'm like, okay, this makes sense, because I played Final Fantasy V. But for someone who hasn't played those deep, cakey, dense RPGs from back in the day, that's kind of a barrier to entry. So, yeah, I think that those 5 things would kind of make the game a sequel much easier to process for people, and satisfy the old heads like me who like to play old school RPGs, and the new people who like to play old stuff. So with that being said, I guess it's time to talk about the channels. The channel. So basically, this Saturday we'll be doing a Sci-Fi Power Hour-ish special where we're just going to be talking about comic book characters, mostly Marvel. And we're going to talk about the curious connection between the X-Men, Spider-Man, and the Incredible Hulk. It's going to be a very interesting video, so I hope you enjoy. And don't forget, these are live, so if you're watching, you can basically give your comments, your questions, your concerns, and we'll get to those during the hangout. Also, this Sunday, we'll be doing a BS Busters talking about the news of the week, specifically, the Smash Brothers news. And tomorrow, there might be a podcast with Kenoshi Abominito, but that's not my channel, but I'm plugging it here just because. So, that's the end of the video. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. Give me your thoughts about Octopath Traveler if you played it. If you haven't played it, if you have any questions, give it to me. I'll try to answer them. I do interact with the comment section as long as they're not troll questions or anything. So, peace.